Well, hello. I'm going to say good morning because it's morning where I am right now. Don't know where it is for you as you're tuning into this episode of the No Neutral Moments podcast, which is also where we're promoting the new book that we have coming out. Many of you have heard about it already. Many of you have pre ordered the book, The Middle: How the Quiet Majority Can Help Mend a Divided Nation. And so we're so excited about those pre orders. A little bit of update as to where we are with the book. We're already scheduling publicity around the nation, around the country. I was on a Denver radio show this past week, headed to Los Angeles here pretty soon, and beginning to just receive more and more inquiries into what we're doing and how people want to hear this message. As soon as I get finished making this recording for this podcast, I'm headed into another studio. Going to start reading the audio for the book, and that will also be available when the book releases in hardcover on March the 3rd. So, a lot of exciting things happening around No Neutral Moments, around the book, The Middle, and so appreciative of your feedback. You can catch us on LinkedIn. You can catch us on Facebook, Instagram. My webpage is up and active now. It's patrick-payton.com, patrick-payton.com. So check us out in all these different areas. Help us get the message out and continue to grow this movement that we think is out there with the middle. But I wanted to spend a little bit of time with you talking about this subject of listening. When I was on the radio show in Colorado the other day, the host was a fantastic host. KLZ 560 is the call sign for that drive home in Denver, Colorado. And we were talking about how, as a culture, we just seem to not be able to listen to one another, and we listen past each other. And I got to thinking more and more about that. And a couple of things that I thought about was number one, I remember this verse out of the book of Proverbs that says, "Where there's an abundance of words, there is sure to be transgression, or there's going to be trouble." You think about that verse, and it's true. It seems like the more we talk and the more we talk and the less we listen, there's bound to be trouble. And then I think about Stephen Covey, who is my favorite author, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. His habit number 5 says, "Seek first to understand before demanding to be understood." And I don't think I'm the only one in the listening audience who knows what it's like to have conversations with people, and I'm already thinking about what I'm going to say in anticipation of what I think they're trying to say, rather than taking the time to understand what they're saying and then be able to listen carefully, understand, and reply appropriately. Uh, In today's culture, we're all aware there's a lot of words. There's a lot of words spoken. There's a lot of words posted. There's a lot of things that are said and that are written very fast, not a lot of thinking. And it's probably fair to say that most of us don't spend a lot of time seeking to understand one another before demanding that our viewpoints be understood. And as we were talking about this on this radio show I just referenced, I left the radio show and got to thinking about what do I think's missing? Why is it that we have such a hard time listening to one another? Why is it that we're so drawn to the extremes right now? And I really boiled it down to two words, and that was respect and honor. And those kind of sound like the same word, respect and honor, but I took some time to look up some definitions. And the definition for respect says, due regard for the feelings and the wishes and the rights or the traditions of others. Let me read that again. It's due regard. It means you're paying attention to, you're sensitive to the feelings, the wishes, the rights, or the traditions of others. And as I was thinking about that, and this whole idea of due regard for people's feelings and wishes and rights and traditions, I got to thinking about how often do I just view people with regard for what they're dreaming about, what they're hoping for, what they're trying to accomplish. And the second thing I thought about was this word honor, this respect and honor. They seem like sides of the same coin, different sides of the same coin, but honor says to show high respect, to show great esteem, and to show great regard. And the more I thought about respect and honor, I thought it really boiled down to, am I going to view people, person sitting across from me, the person I disagree with, the person who's offended me, whatever the case might be, am I going to view them first and foremost as my convictions say, created in the image of God, if I really believe what the Bible says? And you may not, that's something for you to wrestle with, but then I have to admit, I have to understand that they deserve honor and respect because they have been created by God. As C.S. Lewis says, you've never met a mere mortal. They're an immortal soul who has hopes and dreams and ambitions. And then when you look at this idea of respect, then I should respect who they are as a person, honoring and respecting. And I know what you're saying. Yeah, but what about? What about what they said? What about what they did? Well, that's all fair game, but I can't start there. I've got to start with wanting to know the person. I can't start with my perception. I can't start with what I think reality is. I have to start with seeking to understand them. I had someone tell me a long time ago, regardless of how people act or what they say to you, there's probably a deep story in their life. And part of honoring and respecting one another is knowing we all have different stories. We all have different reasons as to justify our actions or why we did what we did or why we said what we said. But I'm just going to submit to you as we go through this holiday season, and maybe you're going to listen to this podcast after the holiday season. So as you go into 2026, maybe if we're going to see the extremes become more isolated, and if we're going to see this nation begin to mend, we start approaching other with great respect and great honor, if for no other reason because they deserve it, because they've been created in the image of God. And then if you go into what we believe as a country, that we all have this creator who has provided us with inalienable rights. And if we say we believe that, and if we truly are going to listen, then it's going to start with honor and respect. I wrote that quote down from C.S. Lewis, and I'll conclude with this. And I would encourage you just to consider this when C.S. Lewis said, "You're never going to meet a mere mortal. Everyone we come in contact with is an eternal soul that deserves respect and honor." And it's a hard place to start sometimes because people say really tough things, people do really bad things. But maybe if we just back up a little bit, slow down a little bit, seek first to understand, begin to show respect and honor, and return a culture that honors listening, we might see the middle come together and the extremes further and further away from us, and we can see this nation begin to mend. Thanks for your time. Thanks for tuning in to No Neutral Moments. Again, check us out on all the social media. Check out our webpage, patrick-payton.com, and please reorder or pre-order the book and join with us in March 3rd whenever we go through. Maybe we'll be in your hometown. We'll be traveling quite a bit. Hope to see you. If you know a place that maybe we should go and maybe we should do a book signing, let us know. Reach out to us. Thanks so much for your support already. And if it's before Christmas when you see this, Merry Christmas. If it's after Christmas when you see this and hear this, I hope you have a great and blessed 2026.